frontier. This is Football Daft with Stephen Purden,
midfield dynamo and average actor,
Chris Toll,
target man, suspicious character,
and
with the top end of Stevenson, Grado!
Welcome to Football Daft, the daftest Scottish football podcast around. My name's Stephen Purden, and completing the lineup, we first welcome a man who has went Twitch daft. He has set up his own channel where you can watch him fly planes on his flight simulator, and my wee boy Leo thinks he is now a pilot. It is Captain Grado.
How's it going? Captain Grado is, cheap plug here, www.twitch.tv/Captain Grado. If you want to see me, I'm going to be flying tonight. I think I'm going to be taking a wee flight down to the south of France. I might be hitting across to Belfast and we'll land at Glasgow Press Week at the 2200 hours. So catch that on Twitch, man. Just sit and watch me fly, man. Getting about it. Tidy.
Magic. I'm going to do it. And now let's introduce a man who continues to languish in anguish and despair after Celtic's recent results. It's Chris Toll. My producer wrote that. Our producer wrote that. Chris, I'm sorry, mate. I didn't.
It's not me, listen, don't fucking worry about it.
What I done there is what we say in the industry. I just played the page, mate. I played the page.
Listen, I know you're a man that knows his script, Stevie. So
Aye, I played the page.
Don't worry about that. But listen, I'm fine now. I know we've had a fucking terrible few games and stuff like that, but I'm absolutely buzzing today, to be honest with you. I'm really looking forward to this today.
Let's get into it, boys. Let's get into it. Scottish football, right? Let's start, since we're talking about it. Neil Lennon says there is no justification for his job to be under threat as he has rallied against the hysteria over his
man, it was God, they didn't hold back the old press yesterday at that press conference, didn't they? And I think Lennon was out to make a point big time. What did you make it, though?
I think that he either needs to shoulder the blame for this or admit to the fact that the players just aren't performing at the levels that it should be. He's come out and he said that the players are getting undue criticism. A lot of shite. He's saying that we're disrespecting the players. A lot of shite. The players are disrespecting us because they're going out there, they're not getting 100%. And it's fucking embarrassing. So whose fault is it? Is it either the players or is it Lennon's? Because one of the two of them have got to take it on.
Do you know what? See, no matter whose fault it is, if it's the players' fault or it's Lennon's fault, we'll never really know. But the buck always stops with the manager. The players always win, and the manager's the one that will always fall in the sword. Do you know what I mean? So
the thing is, Stephen, he's the man putting the players onto the park. See if they're not doing it. Switch them out for players that are willing to fucking try.
Mm-hmm. What about Duffy? Do you think he's been getting it tight the last couple of days because he's just been on everybody's memes? He's been getting a lot of slack everywhere. What do you reckon about it? Do you think he's just gone through a wee kind of phase of this just now? Are you confident he'll come back and play the way he did when he first came?
Again, at the time when he first came, and I mentioned to John, and I said it on Celtic Daft as well, I didn't think he was going to be any good. Right? He got after a flyer, but again, you need to then address the fact that the two teams that he played well against. You know what I mean? Anytime he's come up against anybody that's willing to ever run at him, he's fucking all over the shop. See, as long as balls are coming into the box and he's able to attack them, that's fine. See, when the ball's on the deck, he looks as if he's never seen a fucking football before. That goal against Aberdeen at the weekend there, the Aberdeen's second goal.
Oh, mate, when he's trying to clear the ball.
I would have hooked him. I would have took him off after it.
Right, troops, also this week, the new technology introduced by a friend of the show, Mark Miller, had a little bit of a hiccup in Inverness on Saturday. The Pixelot technology is set to track the movement of the ball with automated cameras, but unfortunately it mistook the linesman's baldy head as the ball and followed him instead. Car officials came against air. I think it thought the baldy napper, I think it thought was the ball. So it kept flowing.
Is this on internet?
It is. Inverness, the guy who's doing obviously Inverness TV, the commentator had to keep apologising because the camera was following this blindsman.
So if you're a baldy linesman, are you going to have to wear a hat or something like that when you're?
I need to see the video of that, man.
Game, man. No, but Pixelot technology's happening today, mate. You're going to put a hat on me or doing
That's amazing, man. I need to see this.
Right, so on the show today, we welcome current Dundee United and former Aberdeen and Motherwell centre-half Mark Reynolds. And the Legends Lottery has been sensationally axed after the failures of Chris and the fact Grado ended up getting a parrot on. And now producer John is back with us. I'm sure he's got something to say.
What has been happening? What has been happening? I take 1 week
John, do you know what, John? Put them in their place, John.
One week off, right? And then I'm listening to the podcast last week. I wonder who Chris has got in the Legends Lottery. I'm really looking forward. He doesn't let me down normally. And then I get this sob story about people pulling out. And the week before, I turn on and there's a fucking parrot on. Now you've heard the expression "jump the shark." Yeah, have you heard that expression when someone?
I've heard that a few times.
So the Legends Lottery has sensationally jumped the parrot, I think, right? So, but then I'm getting so Stephen gave me the heads up saying, by the way, I think you need to get onto this because the Legends Lottery doesn't look like it's happening. He's saying Chris is getting anxious over it for a start.
Listen, mate, hold on.
Right, hold on. Sorry.
Right, on you go, John. Sorry, you're on a roll there. I apologise.
In these days of mental health, Chris, I don't want anyone getting upset. I don't want you running to the Samaritans and saying, I couldn't get Hamish Angel on the Legends Lottery. So, do you know what? We're going to have to let it go. So, Stephen, congratulations, sir. You won the Legends Lottery.
Easy. But by the way, can I just say, you're slagging this Mr. Chow. I got a tweet this morning 10 hours ago. Because he's replied to my flight simulator post and he went, you've obviously took inspiration from the amazing guest that was Mr. Chow and now wants to fly. Man, that parrot touched us all in some way. Great guest. Well done, Grado, for following your dreams.
By the way, I'm going to say something. I don't think Mr. Chow can fly. There you go. He can't do what else that folk claim that he can do, can he?
Oh, Christ, do you know what? Let's get him back on for another interview, shall we? We'll find out.
Look, Church, never fear though. We've got a brand new feature as we trial the open line. We're inviting you to come on and talk to us. You might want to make it a pertinent point about Neil Lennon's tactics, voice your concerns about Dundee United's lack of goals, or perhaps just ask Grado about Flight Simulator. We'll also be checking out a new way which you could be bookie bashing. And on the big question, after Roofe's goal, we ask, what is the best goal you've seen your team score? Yeah, I'm going to get a beer because I won the Legends Lottery, man.
Well done, congratulations.
Well done, mate. I was second, but I'm delighted.
Football Daft with G4 Claims. Been involved in a road traffic accident? Call them now on 01698 767 172.
Remember, if you've been in a road traffic accident and it's not your fault, well, G4 Claims can make it very easy for yourselves. They're going to provide you with complete accident management support that you require. They will recover the costs from the at-fault party and they'll also sort you out with a like-for-like vehicle replacement. They're also going to organise your vehicle to be repaired at one of their approved body shops and returned to yourselves. Should your vehicle be deemed a write-off, they're going to recover the pre-accident value for your car and write you a big fat cheque for it. And best of all, it's not going to cost you a penny as they charge the at-fault insurance direct. G4 Claims, they don't cold call, they don't buy data. And once I've processed your claim, your insurance is going to remain unscathed. And the best thing is, Nicole and the team over there, they won't take your case on if they don't think they can help. I think it's a great idea. You don't need to get your own insurance involved. Just if you get in an accident, first thing you do, phone G4 Claims. Phone them right away, or if you know somebody that has, tell them about G4 Claims. 01698 767 172. That's 01698 767 172. Alternatively, you can get them on the website, notatfaultclaim.com, or find them on social media at G4 Claims Limited. G4 Claims, not at fault claims.
Made easy.
So guys, welcome to the inaugural Football Daft open line after the Legends Lottery was sensationally axed last week in my absence. We talked about it at the start of the show, but we won't get into it anymore. Right. But listen, this is great, it's brand new. Basically, it's the open line. We invite you to come on to Football Daft and we get to shout, what's your point caller and where you at the game. I know you guys have always wanted to do that. So basically, you can talk about anything you want. You can come on and make a valid point about football to the boys, or you can just come and ask what's happening in River City to Stephen. So this.
But the thing is, what you've got to remember, John, is our main question is now, we can't ask it because no cunt's been at a football match for fucking months.
A very good point. It's a very good point, Cor. Thanks for that. So you're getting used to this already.
You're right, Toll. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this week it's a bit like a trialist. We'll see how it goes and we'll let the listeners decide if this is going to be the replacement for the Legends Lottery, all right? So first up on the line, we're going to welcome to the show Kevin Devine is on, and he is a Celtic supporter. Kevin, welcome to Football Daft Open Line. What is your point that you'd like to make to the panel?
So it would be a Toll. Obviously, listen to Celtic Daft the other day. Do you think it's time up for Lennon?
Fucking straight in it, boys.
Well, we spoke on Celtic Daft a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
The twos were kind of borderline, I think.
Aye.
I think.
Can I just say I love this section of the show already?
So do I. And can I just say I think this will be a very long answer because Toll has been up and down like a bride's nightie. He wants Lennon to go there.
No, do you know what? I've got my feet firmly in a position now. Right. And I think it's time for Celtic to twist. I think it's time for it would be best for both parties if Neil took his leave now.
Toll, did you see his press conference yesterday? I watched some of it back and it was on the news last night.
I'm going to be honest with you, Grado. I heard that. I didn't watch it. I heard it, but he's going on about disrespect to players and all that. And where does he blame lie then? See if we're being disrespectful to the players, then the blame lies with the manager because he's the one that's picking these players, and the players aren't doing it. So it's either them or it's him. So he needs to decide what camp he's in. He's saying that there's no fucking reason for him to be sacked, and then he's turning around and saying that we're disrespecting the players. Everybody can, with two fucking eyes, can see what's going on at Celtic Park. These players don't want to play for him anymore.
He's disrespecting the fans with the shite performances his players are putting in.
Exactly. And do you know what? I'll tell you something now. A lot of people say, and it's a famous quote, right? A change is as good as a rest. See, if you bring in a new manager, these players will feel reinvigorated. They'll feel as if they've got something to prove. They'll feel as if they've had that rest. You know what I mean?
Who do you bring in?
That's the one worry, Stevie. The one worry is if we get rid of Neil Lennon now, they're going. I don't want them to do the old pals act because we're going to end up with fucking Martin O'Neill and Gordon Stratton or something along the lines, or even, in my opinion, potential worst case scenario right now is they give the job to Scott Brown to see out the season.
You know what?
That terrifies the life out of me, man. It really does.
Kevin, thanks for winding up. Thanks for winding up Toll today, mate. I love it.
I know. I was just going to ask Kevin who you wanted to be the next manager if you want.
That's the thing, no, Grado, right? I know he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best at like football wise, but Strachan got results for me.
Right.
I know Toll just says he want to go back to Strachan, but see bringing
Strachan. No, I wouldn't go back at all. I wouldn't go back at all. Mate. Celtic, see the one time Celtic have thought outside the box and fucking brought in a manager that wasn't one of the old boys. Right, they've done it twice. They've done it with Wim Jansen and they've done it with fucking Brendan Rodgers. Right, and look what happened. Wim Jansen stopped Rangers for doing 10 in a row. Brendan Rodgers ushered in the most successful period in the club's fucking history. Yep. Right, so get out of this mentality.
John Barnes was a wee bit outside the box, but was it no?
Aye, but he came in the Kenny Dalglish, but
right.
Do you know what I mean? The only other one's Dr. Joe. Right, I would say Dr. Joe, but in my opinion, we need to get out of this mentality that it needs to be a Celtic man. What it needs to be is a fucking manager that's got the right ideas in place, wants to play football the way that all the fans want to see football being played. Right, see this? Or bring in him because he's got Celtic, he's played with Roy Keane or somebody like that. Fuck that, man. They should be going for a manager the level of Eddie Howe. Somebody that's proven that he can do it with a small budget. Do you know what I mean? Because, all right, we've got a bigger budget than the rest of Scottish football, but in the grand scale of things, Celtic's budget compared to these other teams, even like Bournemouth, is fucking minuscule. And Rangers is as well. And you'll agree with me on that, lads. So we need somebody that can come in and bring in success, not just domestically, but in Europe on a shoestring budget. Neil Lennon's no longer the man to do it. It's time for him to go. And I'll probably get fucking roasted for this, but I've made my mind up. It's time.
Strong words from Chris Toll. Kevin, thank you very much for your point on the open line being our first call.
Thanks, Kevin, mate.
Thanks,
cheers.
Kevin. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Cheers, Kev.
Let's move on to our next caller. We're going to move on to Rangers supporter Andrew Blake.
How you doing, Andrew?
How you doing, Andrew?
Bad guys.
Welcome to the show, Andrew. What point would you like to make to the panel?
Just talk about Morelos. I think obviously the Rangers team's quite strong at the moment, but obviously he's starting. Obviously they've started at the weekend there, obviously resting him. But to be honest, I think he's one of our weak links at the moment. Looking at the Celtic game, he was just causing bother with the Brown and that, and he could have got himself sent off.
I totally agree. I totally 100% agree. I think when you watch us playing now, Grado mentioned a word when we were doing Rangers Daft, fluidity. We're fluid up to a point. Everything seems to be breaking down with Morelos. Any striker that's no scoring goals or having an impact in the game has to go back to basics. But in my opinion, Morelos, he can't even do the basics right now. And I think at the weekend there, the best thing we done was rotating the squad and taking them out. He needs a goal. He needs something to drop from, but it's not working. Took out the team. And in my opinion, he should be a bit worried, because if Kamar Roofe does get fitter and get his fitness up to a point where he's match fit, he's my number one striker, and Morelos isn't starting for me now. He's a shadow of at the moment.
Aye, it is unfortunate for Morelos, but it's fortunate for us that we've got other players that are scoring goals. And hopefully there is a wee bit of competition for Morelos. Hopefully that G's him up. You said, Bob, as you were talking about there in Rangers Daft, he needs a goal. But we've been saying this for December. He needs a goal. He's scored goals here and there, and it's still been the same kind of...
Aye.
It's been the same kind of the body language. I can't tell. I can't slate him for the body language. I can't.
No, I don't think it's. I think the body language.
An attitude issue now. I don't think it's.
It's a confidence issue. It's a
confidence issue.
Like you say, mate, you're bang on, because last season when Morelos didn't score or didn't play well, Rangers didn't score or play well. But now the tables we're not relying so heavily on him. We're getting goals for all over the place. So
can I ask you, lads? But do you remember the last Celtic Rangers game at Parkhead last season when he gets sent off for diving? Remember? And he's coming off the park and he's going, I'm done. Do you think he's just fucking down tools? Because he's done.
I think what he was doing, that was the game was done. I think it meant the game was done.
Was he not telling John to cut that out for the highlights?
What do you think, Andrew? Do you think he should get took out the squad now a wee bit and just...
I think definitely. Look at the goal Roofe scored. I know that folk are saying that, well, I've seen some folks say it was a bit of luck, but you seen him look up. He looked up just as he went to strike it. So he's playing brilliant. And even Defoe, the finish was ridiculous. Took his left foot, most would have tried with the right. So I think he needs taking out. And Tolway, I mentioned with that last game at Parkhead, he should have struck the ball. Hit the ball at the keeper instead of diving and getting himself sent off.
Aye.
So he's needing time with the squad.
I want to repeat, I know we keep mentioning what other podcasts here, but I really want to repeat what the similar vein to what I said about the Jermaine Defoe goal on Sunday. That was just, for me, a totally lovable, amazing, heart-warming moment, because we had such a good week. We went to Parkhead, we won, we won 2-0 in Europe, and then on Sunday, for some reason, you forget that we've got Jermaine Defoe, and Jermaine Defoe comes up with a lovely, beautiful, world-class goal, and it was just the icing on the cake to a perfect week.
It was... I didn't realise... I seen a highlight reel of Jermaine. Was that, if I'm not mistaken, was that his 500th career goal?
I think it was 300.
300th, right. So, I didn't know that, and I seen somebody had put on Facebook a highlight reel of all Jermaine Defoe's, not all his goals, but his best goals basically over his career, right? And I didn't know that he had scored that goal against Livingston. And I was like, I've never seen that goal before. That's the best one he's fucking scored. By the way, I genuinely didn't know until I watched the Rangers highlights later on. What a fucking finish that was.
What a ball for Tav as well, man. The ball for Tav.
But the finish was absolutely world class.
Aye. But to what I'm saying is, it was like, do you know that way where for some reason it felt as if you forgot about Defoe. And then he scores and you're like, fuck, man, we've got Defoe and all. He can pop up and score the goals and all. It was just a lovely end to a beautiful week.
Aye, I've had a great week myself, Grado. Anyway.
So there you go, Andrew. Has your point been covered?
Aye, no. Good.
All right.
Thank you for being on.
Cheers, mate. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you. Cheers, thank you. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Let's move on to our final caller. It is Goshi, who's also a Rangers supporter. So, Goshi, what is your point for the panel, sir?
Well, I was just thinking, see, us this season, Rangers this season, obviously, I think we've been playing pretty well. We've controlled pretty much every game. I don't really think we've struggled, to be honest. Obviously, Hibs and Livy, but we're pretty much close to taking 3 points for that. But just with, obviously, Aribo now coming back fit, Roofe coming back fit, and we've still got Zungu to come in, obviously, to Chris, are you a bit worried about Rangers?
I am, to be honest with you. If I'm going to be 100% honest, I am. I'm shiting myself. if I'm going to be fucking frank, like you said, man, you've got some man for man now. Rangers are a better team than Celtic. There's no fucking two ways about it, and that's the honest truth. And the fact that you've got players that are just coming back from injury as well is only going to strengthen that. Now, obviously, we've had a few out, which I don't think it should be any sort of excuse. Because the performances, regardless the results, the performances have been fucking dreadful anyway, even when we've been winning. So I really am quite worried about the rest of the season, to be honest with you, mate.
What about you, Stephen Grado? You're quite confident. Do you see us kicking up again?
Do you know something? I'll feel more confident one Sunday's by. I think Sunday's a massive test.
That's a big game for us. It's the place where Steven Gerrard's probably struggled the most. I think even statistic wise, it's the hardest place to go for him. And I think he's got the less points. So, Bob, as you say, man, I will. If we win this weekend, man, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but this is a big game, man.
If we win on Sunday,
to draw it.
Exactly, man.
You're right, but you're right. Because, and this is a horrible feeling, right? But it's like, that way you're like, man, everything's gone too well now. Something's not right. And then
if we win Sunday, Celtic have still got 2 games in Hon, but they've still got to go to Hibs. They've still got to go to Fir Park before you even touch the games in Hon. So there's so much pressure on Celtic if we win on Sunday. 9 points a big deficit. Game in Hons or no. Know what I mean, doesn't he? Still a big deficit.
Now, man, see, like you're touching on there. Gosh, it's. And Stephen was saying as well, we've not been great at Easter Road for a long fucking time. Do you know what I mean? And we've got a couple of huge games coming up because Motherwell are in form. I watched the Motherwell game at the weekend there, and they absolutely hammered Ross County. And Tony Watt looked like Ronaldo at points during the game
this season.
Do you know what I mean? So see him, he's a bully striker. So see when he's up there. I've got no confidence that our defence are going to be able to cope with him. And see when I'm talking about Doidge and Nesbitt as well, and it's I'm really these next few games coming up, man, are going to define Celtic's season. I think.
Hibs were probably our toughest test, I think, this season.
Aye.
I tell you, it wasn't fucking us anyway, was it?
No.
Well, gosh, thanks for coming on the inaugural Football Daft Open Line, sir.
No bother, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, my man. Take care, right, pal?
See you after.
Cheers, bud. All the best, mate. All the best.
Cheers,
so there we go, boys. The initial Football Daft Open Line. Is it staying or is it going?
I like it. I
really like that. To be honest with you, I really like that.
There we go then. So it's going to be back next week then. And listen, we want more than Old Firm supporters on. If you're a Thistle supporter, if you're a Motherwell supporter, if you're an Arbroath supporter.
More than football fans on as well. I want to discuss River City. I want to discuss what Grado 7-3's done tomorrow night. You can ask us whatever the fuck you want. That's the beauty.
Within reason.
So, Football Daft Open Line returns next week then, boys, yeah?
Yes.
Football Daft's big question.
So I'm sure everybody's seen it by now, but let's just take a minute to talk about Kamar Roofe's absolute wonder goal against Standard Liège in the Europa League last week.
Did I not tell you he was a player?
On a rain-soaked pitch, he beats 3 men in the halfway line before spotting the keeper off his line, and then he strikes it. What a goal. Gerrard described it as world-class. Players, pundits alike, from across the world have all been raving about it. It's went global, it's went viral. It's arguably one of the best goals Rangers have ever scored. I tell you, if I was a Rangers supporter and I didn't see it live on the telly, I honestly just don't know how I could live with myself. Hey, Bob. Bob.
Do you know some? Yeah, I mean, you know how big a Rangers man I am, Grado. Producer John.
Started out it, mate.
I don't.
You missed that. You missed that goal last week. You were
It's
talking
very
to the
important.
press, to the gutter press.
I had very important work to be doing that night. In other words, I was doing a fucking podcast with Beverly Lyons, man.
How many folk have you been? Aye, man, it was great, man. I was just watching it, man. Fucking jumping about the house, it was crazy. Have you done all that shit? No,
Mate, do you know what? I've just realised I done another podcast this week, a Rangers podcast, and I didn't know any of the guys I was on, and if they listen to this, they're going, well, he's talking shit. I said I was jumping about.
Well, mate, I do understand that. If you're on a Rangers podcast, you're not going to turn on and start going.
Sent me three guys, I'm going, no, but mate, I was talking about Beverly Lyons and what's happening in the social scene in Glasgow and Merchant City, you know? Do you know what? I was sitting talking to Beverly Lyons about fuck knows what, and if you leave your telly on too long, sometimes it goes on standby itself. So I hadn't touched my remote, it was either my Skybox or my telly, it fucking went on standby, and I just see my phone going fucking nuts. What a goal. And
what did I know say? Please, I knew you were going to miss it.
One of the messages was yours. I seen going, Bob, please tell me you saw that. And I'm like, I'm sitting going like, Beverly, is that us? We done? Aye. I was gutted, man. Honestly, gutted.
What a goal, but
see the minute it left his foot, I just thought to myself, please God, hit one of the puddles. Hit one of the fucking puddles.
I thought he was putting it for a corner when he took it. I thought he was putting it out.
No, that's 100% deliberate in my eyes.
Oh, there's no argument. There's no, man. 100%.
You know what? He's hanging. He's fucking what a goal, man.
Do you know something?
It's not just like the conditions that it's in. Right,
aye, exactly.
It's the other ones that we've seen before, like Wayne Rooney and David Beckham and all of them. They've been on fucking Premiership pitches. That pitch at Rangers played Standard Liaison was an absolute shambles. You know, the game shouldn't have even continued. If we're being honest with ourselves, the ball wasn't going fucking 5 feet when folk were kicking it. So
it went 55 yards when Roofe kicked it, mate.
Well, that's it. That's what I mean. That's my whole point.
No. Mate, it's one of the ones. You've seen Charlie Adam doing it, you've seen Rooney doing it, you've seen Beckham doing it. But Roofe's, for me, being biased, obviously being a Rangers fan, but it's where, like Gerard said, it's where he collects the ball. It's what he does before he takes the shot. He takes 3 men out the game on a fucking swimming pool. Do you know what I mean? Basically, like fucking runs with it, takes 3 men out of the game, and then to do that, like you say, Tol, you're bang on, the conditions, everything, it is a fucking world-class bit of genius. And I wish I seen it live. So we've
asked football fans who listen to this show to basically tell us the best goal that they've ever seen live. So that was the big question this week on Football Daft.
So what's yours, Grado? What one that you've been there for, though, actually been in the stadium?
Do you know what? I think that's a hard question. Do you know what? One that sticks out to me is, was it Newman scored an absolute belter goal against Celtic in the early 2000s?
Aye.
I remember seeing that live because that was right in front of me in Govan Front. That's what instantly pops in my mind.
My dad took me to my first Old Firm. My mum wasn't allowing me to go. My dad ended up taking me, and it was, I remember it vaguely, but I was there, and I always claim I seen it live, and I did, but it's probably not my dad's seat behind a pish. Albert's free kick in the New Year game at Ibrox, I was there, I was at that game in the main stand.
I was a screamer and all.
It's funny you say that because I was no well, man, and I had to give my ticket away to my brother that day. That was right in New Year, wasn't it? That was a great goal.
Aye, it was a New Year game.
It was a great goal, an absolute screamer.
What about you, Tom?
It's got to be Larsson's lob against Rangers, to be honest with you. It's got to be. I always think he goals like Nakamura's free kick against Man United and stuff like that. But for the goal, Larsson's goal against Rangers in the 6-2 game was a fucking beauty. I think that's the best goal I've ever seen live.
Anyway, Dougie says Simon Steinrod for Falkirk away at St Johnstone. They had scored when Falkirk kicked off and Steinrod went for it for the halfway line and it went sailing right into the net. Were you there for that one, John White?
That isn't Dougie that said that. That's John that's fucking wrote that.
No, it wasn't. This is one of these goals that it's like, you know, when the Sex Pistols played in Manchester, everyone claims that they were there.
There was 80,000 in a 5,000 arena.
It was like one of those ones, but no one's really seen it because it was Alex Totten, who's the manager of St Johnstone at the time, is now a legend at Falkirk. He taped over the goal like with Neighbours or Coronation Street or something like that. So
we need to get to the bottom of this. I want to know I want somebody's got coverage of that somewhere, and I want Simon Stainrod.
You can't get it. Alex Totten take over it. I
want Stainrod and I want Totten on here. I want to know what Totten put on that video. There's some that this goes deeper. There's a story here. There's a sensational story somewhere here. I'm telling you.
But you know something, John?
What?
I was ill that day.
No, you weren't.
I'm only joking.
Right, Gary says Ian Jardine scoring from a free kick inside his own half for the Buffs. Pretty sure if the keeper hadn't got a hand on it, it wouldn't have counted as it was an indirect free kick. Am I right, Grado?
That is correct. I wasn't at that game, but my father came back. I can't remember who it was against. I don't know if it was the Meda. But folks spoke about that for a good wee while. Ian Jardine, man. See, I remember Ian Jardine playing football. I felt as if he was about 55 at the time or not. He was a big centre half, a right kind of old guy, man. But I think he played with Kelly as well. But I'm going to find out more details off my dad for that, Gary, and we'll get back to that next week.
We've got Mark here. It says Lucas Jurkovic, equaliser for Motherwell against Hibs in the 6-each game. Van Basten, like he says, but that was as close to Van Basten as I've been. It really was.
Definitely, man, definitely. Stephen says Koulibaly's goal against Celtic for Kilmarnock.
That was a screamer. That was the one for about 45 yards, man.
Yeah.
Right. Dougie says Colin O'Neill in a 1991 Scottish Cup semi-final replay for Motherwell against Celtic, 35-yarder into the top corner, was in the director's box at Hampden on some comps and got into trouble for going absolutely mental.
John, you've said something here. I don't know if it's been one of our John's famous mistakes.
It's not one of our John's famous mistakes. I copied and pasted this over.
Right, if you copy and pasted this, then John, Nakamura's goal against Rangers in the 3-2 game. Right, no, there wasn't a 3-2 game where Nakamura scored against Rangers. There was a 2-1 game, John. So I'm already starting to think you maybe weren't at the game, right? 3-2 game, ball put in for Caldwell, and he hit it on the bounce. McGregor had no chance. That goal was a fucking screamer.
It was a great goal, man. It was a very painful night. I remember it well. Very, very painful night.
David says Gaza's third goal against Aberdeen to give us 8 in a row. I was at that game, and I probably actually changed my pick to that now.
Like you change your fucking top 10 Rangers. We'll get back. We'll not go into that again. But Scott says Aberdeen's second goal via Real Madrid in the 83 Cup Winners' Cup final. I don't remember.
As well. It was diving header, was it not?
Yeah.
Glasgow Lockdown says Grado's goal at Ibrox. Oh, wait. Mate, everybody opened up like a Red Sea to let you go through and score, man, and you fucking shanked it with a fucking free iron.
We've covered this.
It was really puts in the wrong feet that day. Really puts in the wrong feet.
Football Daft with G4 Claims. Been involved in a road traffic accident? Get them now at notitfaultclaims.com.
It's the podcast that allows ex-footballers the chance to replay their last game once again. It is one last match. This week, it's the turn of Stuart McCall.
I used to say to Gazza, listen, I'll do the dirty work, I'll get the ball and give it to you, but he would be backslide tackling, heading. He was an all-round midfielder, although he had fantastic ability and, you know, he could change the game, you know, flick of his boot.
Find out why he thinks things could have been so different for Gazza, what it was like to fall out with Walter Smith, and his regrets on missing out on 10 in a row. A catch-up on previous episodes now as well, with the likes of John Hartson, Gary Pallister and Jason McAteer. It's on Apple, Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And just remember, it's never too late for one last match.
Audio Frontier.
Listen, everybody hates when you've got to cut them down. You know, there's always that one team that lets you down when they concede a last-minute goal. For me, last night, it was a goal. I needed a goal, one more goal, and I would have had a few £100 in my pocket. Real Madrid fucked me. But here at Football Daft, we want to help you out with this in a brand new way to beat the bookies. TradeMateSports.com. It's a new tool for sports traders that calculates the true odds of a sporting event and signals when the bookies make mistakes so that you can exploit them. And coming on to the show to tell us about it just now is straight from down under, actually, all the way from Australia. all the way for Australia. It's the marketing manager of TradeMateSports.com, Alex Vella. Good day, mate. Sorry.
Cheers, mate.
Sorry, that's
Cheers,
terrible.
Nat.
I apologise.
It's got to be done, though, mate. It's got to be done.
Well, listen, Alex, tell me a wee bit more about Trademate Sports.
Yeah, so Trademate Sports is a value betting software. So I guess a lot of people are probably unfamiliar with the term value betting. I guess I'd probably best to just dumb it down as much as possible. It's just about betting on deviations between bookmakers, so different betting odds. So I guess the easiest example is the coin flip example. Heads or tails, the odds on either side should be 2 in odds. So 50-50 is your chance. And what value betting is we're just saying, like, imagine if for let's just say the coin is completely equal, like there's no chance that it's weighted unevenly or anything like that. So it's a 50-50 chance of flipping on either heads or tails. Imagine if I said to you that instead of giving you 2 in odds, I'll give you 2.2 in odds or 2.1 in odds, whatever that is. So you're getting value in a way, like you're getting a bigger value than what the actual probability is. And then on the other side, I'll say you get 1.9 or 1.8 in odds for tails, let's just say. So every day of the week, you're going to say heads because when it does land on heads, you're going to...
winning. You've got a chance of winning more money. Not more chance of winning, but a chance of winning more money.
Exactly. And you play that scenario out thousands of times, hundreds of thousands of times, how many times you want to do it. Like in the long run, you're going to make a fair crack of money. So, I guess that's value betting at its core. And there's, how that relates to sports betting, I guess I can explain later. But, I guess that's like the core principle, like the easiest way for people to understand.
So what exactly does your service offer?
Yeah, so basically this is where it might get a bit complicated, but there's like bookmakers that are really good at predicting the true odds of a game. So essentially there's millions, probably not billions of dollars, but sometimes tens of millions of dollars put into a football game, like like your Liverpool versus Arsenal, your Manchester United versus Chelsea. Like these are huge games. So there's millions of dollars put into these games. So there's actually like over time, like a fair price is created, like the correct probability of the game is created. So what Trademate does is we track like the sharpest odds, like the ones that create the truest probability of the game. But on the other hand, there's some bookmakers that are really, really shit. They're really shit at putting their odds up, or at least they're really slow at reacting to changes in the market. So what happens is you might get your Bet365 or your Paddy Power, these kind of bookmakers. They're really slow at changing their odds. So best example that ever happened was in a cup game between Chelsea and Man City about 3 or 4 years ago. Basically, Man City came out and they fielded like 5 youngsters, or 5 debutants, never played a game of football in their life, or at least for Man City. And so they played against a strong Chelsea team. And so what happened was, obviously, that news came in an hour before kickoff. The odds like significantly drop on Chelsea because they've realised, all right, the likes of Aguero, De Bruyne, whoever was playing at the time, aren't playing. So Chelsea's odds significantly drop from like 1.8 to 1.4 or something ridiculous like that. And so what happens in that scenario is our customers get an alert saying, look, Manchester or Chelsea are at 1.8 in odds here, but their real probability of winning is 1.4. Now, that's like a really exaggerated example it's not always going to drop by that much. But I guess, so you get an alert as a customer, and then you can just go, righto, there's the bet that I want to get on, there's the bookmaker where it's at, that's how much I should put on it, and then you go and place that at your bookmaker.
So basically, it's the service is guiding people to slow reactions, but also bookmakers that aren't giving the true odds to a game are giving actually more than the true odds.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like exploiting bookmakers that are really slow at changing their odds. That's probably the easiest way of putting it.
Bookmakers have been exploiting us for years, so it's about fucking time.
Oh, mate, I couldn't agree. And the thing is that the shame about everything is that once you, I've seen it myself multiple times, and obviously our customers, the biggest problem is that they don't want winning players. I don't know how much you guys know about this kind of stuff, but you'll notice, within, I think my quickest limitation was maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks after I started using the software, got a nice little message from Bet365, or sometimes they don't even message you and they'll just say, this Bet365 completely banned me. But yeah, most bookmakers will, you go say, yeah, I'll put $100 on this, and then they'll filter it and go, nah, you can have $3 on this. So that's the problem. That's the only limitation to this at all, is that eventually it might be 1 year from now, it might be 1 week from now. I mean, I've had one day. They will limit you because they know that your strategy, just from you placing maybe 5 to 10 bets, they can see that your strategy in the long term is a winning one, and that they'd rather just get rid of you now because they know in the long term they're completely fucked.
No, fair dues. So as you said, you've been getting limited and stuff like that. But have the bookies actually caught wind of Trademate Sports, and are they not trying to shut you down or anything like that?
No, well, here the thing is we're reasonably, I guess, if you compare us, how many people use Trademate Sports compared to how many people use a bookmaker, we are a very, very, very small community. So their risk management tactics are to limit people, like we said. So rather than become a sharper bookmaker, get better algorithms, models in place so that these issues don't occur with them, they'd rather just take the easy route. And if you win a bit of money over time, if you're getting better odds than you should be getting in a way, that's just their risk management situation at the moment. So yeah, I mean maybe it's something to worry about in the future, but at the moment we trust me, bookmakers make millions. I think Bet365 make hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars. They do not give a fuck about us. we are a very, very small community. I mean, mate, one day hopefully, we'll be sitting here saying, look, we've just changed. I mean, that's our co-founder Jonas Yelstad. He's a professional sports bettor. And he created the software. His goal is to create a revolution in the gambling industry. As much as we love that, at the moment, these bookmakers like Bet365, Paddy Power, Unibet, so on, they don't need to worry about us right now.
How do the Football Daft listeners get involved? Is it literally a case of going onto the website and signing up, or how do they go about it?
Yeah, so I guess we'll leave a link in the description or whatever, and you guys just click on that, and that'll take you to our homepage, and then you can start a free week trial. I think it's the top right hand corner of the website. Just press sign up. And the good thing is that we don't take any credit card, debit card details or anything like that. So just start a free trial. No strings attached. Just have a look, and I think it's just it's important because I guess we've just realized over time that people just start a free week trial just to check it out, and which is fine. You should obviously check it all out, but come in with the mindset of, if you are going to take this seriously, to make this a long-term thing and not just a 1 week thing, because value betting is all about years and years and years Or maybe months. Maybe I've exaggerated a bit.
I understand exactly what you're saying there. It's, you know, it really is really quite interesting to me, this sort of thing, because, as I said, I've been making weekly donations to Sky Bet and William Hill and fucking Paddy Power and Bet365, like you said, every single week for the past God knows how long. So, you know, a wee bit of guidance wouldn't be the worst fucking thing that ever happened to me, to be honest with you. But listen, Alex, like you said, we're going to put the link in the description underneath the podcast this week. And if you're interested in this, give it a click, have a look, take your free trial, and you never know, you could have money falling out your pockets by this time in a couple of years. Alex, thanks very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. And that's TradeMateSports.com, folks. Give them a go.
Football Daft with G4 Claims. Find them on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram at G4 Claims Limited.
The Pro Set Playoff is back, ladies and gentlemen, and it's got a brand new sponsor. Have you boys heard of piesports.com?
Yes.
We've spoken about them a bit before. They're good, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, obviously in these days of COVID, we can't get the football, we can't get our pies. So these guys are sorting out pies that will be delivered to your door in time for the matches at the weekend.
And when are we getting our pies? When are we getting our free pies delivered?
Well, boys, I'm going to just ask you that question because the good people at piesports.com have asked what you want. So I'm going to run through some of their selections for you.
Sorry.
I will give you a choice. I'll come to you first, Stephen. Would you want the internationals, the 3-5-2, the 4-3-3, the 4-4-2, the developmental squad, the dugout, the executive box, or the kit bag?
The 4-3-3.
What you're getting in there, sir, 4 Scotch pies, 3 jumbo sausage rolls, and 3 macaroni pies.
I'm happy with that.
Chris, what you won?
What was I want the director's box one.
I want the executive one.
Executive box, both Grado and Chris going for the executive box. And sensationally, you're getting 6 buffet steak pies, 6 buffet chicken curry pies, and 6 buffet macaroni pies.
Oh, you've made a blunder, something.
Can I change my order, please, John?
What would you like, Stephen?
Let they two go.
Right, okay. The executive. And listen to this one, boys. They've got a new international pie section, which you can get as well. In there, you'll get 2 steak and sausage pies, 2 chicken curry pies, and 2 macaroni pies, and 2 chicken and chorizo pies. How's that?
I'll change my order. Change my order. Give me that one.
So basically, you can get all that piesports.com. You can order on their website or by calling their SOS hotline, which is send our savouries. See what they've done there?
I see it.
So you'll get, and you can also give them a call 0141 739 9999, 0141 739 9999, and you'll get your pies free of charge. Check out the postcodes on their website. You'll be able to see that and get it in for the games this weekend. So that is what is up for grabs this week. You can choose one of those fantastic packages on the Pro Set Playoff if you win. And on to play this week, it's Craig Meikle, who's a Rangers supporter.
How you doing, my man?
How you doing, Craig?
Not bad. Try to take it easy on Chris.
Come on, you mate. I've had a hard time here the past couple of weeks. Give a break,
So, Craig, do you know how the game works?
Yep.
I've got in front of me the Pro Set Playoff cards from the 91-92 Scottish Premier League season. I'll read the description on the back of the card. You've got to buzz in if you know the answer. Give me the name of the player. But if you do buzz in and get the wrong answer, it passes on to the next person. You can't buzz back in. First to 2 wins, and if you don't get it by the end of the description, I'll flip the card over so you can see the picture. Anyone you want to play? Do you want to make it Old Firm, Craig, or do you want one of the Rangers boys?
Oh, potluck.
Right, okay. We'll draw the name out. I'm drawing the name out the hat. Here we go. It is Grado. Grado is a demon at this, so we'll see. So first to 2 gentlemen, right? First player up out of the card. This player plays for Motherwell. He joined Motherwell in 1986 from Pollock Juniors and was top scorer at Fir Park last season with 14 Premier League goals from only 26 starts. A marked improvement on previous season when he managed just 5. His main attributes are his strength and speed off the mark. Motherwell striker in the 91-92 season.
Is it? Nah.
Craig.
Did John Spencer play with Motherwell in the early
Craig.
90s, no?
Chris McCart.
It's not Chris McCart. He was a defender. Grado, do you want to stab it or do you want me to flip the card over?
Nah, I'm not saying. I flip the card over. I don't get it. Nah, I don't know.
Dougie Arnott.
Ah, fuck.
Dougie Arnott.
On to the next player.
I just to get my boy something to say.
I forgot to get your buzzers for you, so we'll just go with Craig and Grado. Right, this player was one of Liam Brady's first signings in an attempt to bring success to Celtic Park in the eve of this season. He's a tall, robust striker whose main strength is in aerial duels. This player's career began in Gillingham, and after 6 seasons, he joined Millwall, where he continued.
Come on, one of you've got to know this. Come on, fuck.
After 3 years at the Den, he joined Aston Villa in a £1 million move in 1990. He is a full international for the Republic of Ireland.
Come on!
Come on, Craig. I know you're a Rangers supporter. This guy's a bit of an icon in many
I didn't hear that, man.
Right.
He played over 100 games for Marseille.
I will flip over the card. Who is that player?
I don't care.
No.
I'm stumped
It's Tony
today, man.
Cascarino, you pair of daft.
It's Tony Cascarino. Congratulations, Chris. Oh my word. Hopefully you'll get this one, but it is another Celtic player. This player is now enjoying his second spell at Celtic since making his league bow in 1980. After 3 seasons, he left to join Arsenal and spent 5
Grado!
Grado.
Is it Charlie Nicholas?
He's sitting there thinking, and it is Charlie.
Sitting there thinking.
On the wet weekend.
What's the score?
1-0, Grado.
Oh, we're struggling today, Bob. We're struggling today.
Next player. I think we've had this one come out the pack before, but we'll go again. This player spent 9 seasons as a regular first-teamer with Celtic before a surprise move to the crack German club Borussia Dortmund.
Grado. Murdo McLeod.
No.
It is Murdo McLeod. 2-0, Grado, Craig. I'm afraid there's no pies for you this weekend, my friend. They're all going to Grado.
I'm still rubbish. That's why I just think, aye, well, I'm saying that.
That's a belter.
Well,
unlucky biggin.
Thanks for coming on and playing.
Right, Craig, now you know how I've felt for the past 3 fucking games, you bastard.
I know, he's sitting in front there with all the answers, I bet you.
I'm not, man. Just tried all that.
Outrageous. Assault. What you what them?
Always cheated, never defeated, Craig, eh?
Exactly.
There we go.
Accusations, man.
Accusations, that's the one I'm waiting for, Stevie. Cheers, man.
And remember, if you want to get pies, get onto piesports.com and get yourself sorted out for the games this weekend.
Football Daft with G4 Claims. Find them on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram at G4 Claims Limited.
Now, let's welcome to Football Daft a former Motherwell, Aberdeen and the current Dundee United captain with over 500 career appearances. It's Mark Reynolds. Welcome to the show, Mark.
How you doing, guys? All right?
Aye, good, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
You started off no bad this season, Mark. It's kind of went a wee bit downhill since then. What's going on at United?
I didn't know it's a hard league.
Right.
Last season we were the favourites with the strongest squad with the best players, and we were expected to go up. Obviously, we got the tainted title with COVID kind of cutting the season short early, and we got promoted. But we knew it was going to be tough. And then again, this seems I don't want to turn this into a COVID-19 talk, but it's put a lot of restrictions on us, and we wanted to bring in a lot more players, wanted to kind of change things up a bit, and it's just not happened. But the Scottish Premiership's a good league. It's got good players and good teams, so we knew it was going to be tough, and we're just finding our feet. And then again, you take all of that, and then your manager decides that he wants to go to Hearts and just leaves after 3 seasons. That throws a spanner in the works.
That was a shocker, actually.
That was a shocker, man. How did you find out about that?
But the thing is, in football, you guys know, like, there's always rumours and there's always things kicking about, and there's always kind of, you hear a rumbling or you hear this or you know what I mean, that, and it builds steam, and then it kind of either happens or somebody will tell you something. Sunday morning, I think my dad texts me saying, "Oh, see your gaffer's going Hearts." And I just my dad reads the papers all the time, like, and everything on the internet, and no matter who the guy is, this guy knows. And I'm like, to him, like, Dad, no, Like, I've told you this before, like, stop reading the website, stop, like, I would know, like, something would have came it. He's like, well, it's on the papers. And by about 3 o'clock, we get a call saying, Zoom call at 5. On the Zoom call, yeah, the gaffer's away. We were just like, what?
What?
And that was the thing, we'd been on, the week before it, we'd been on call Zoom talking about, like, a review of the season, how the championship season had went, what we could do better, what you want to see going forward.
I'm going nowhere.
Aye. And it was like,
I can tell you that today, I'm going nowhere.
It wasn't even, it was like a 20-minute call. They were like, it was like 3-4 hours for 3 nights that week. And I'm like, I've just been on the phone. We've got a battle plan for next season. There's no chance.
Aye.
And then that was him. Off he went.
How much a setback is that, but Mark? I mean, what's the boys like? You're all in a WhatsApp group chat and all that, text each other going, I can't fucking believe that. He told me last week he was signed.
Aye, exactly. Told me he was giving me a new contract. What's happened to that? Like, we just kind of go. But you know what the thing is? See, because of the coronavirus and that, it was just like, we just accepted it. Like, even when we won the league, like, we found out via Zoom call, like, Tony Ashgar phoned me and says, look, we've that's it, the director of football says that that's us got the league, like, we're champions. And I was like, brilliant. And that was like, that was it. And I was like, I thought one we were better than this. And he's like, so we're going to have a Zoom call with the boys, we'll just announce it. So that was fine. And it leaked to the papers or leaked to the press. And then Sky Sports, boys standing outside, whatever it is, I think it was just his garden, to be fair. He's like, Dundee United named champion, but the SPL have yet to confirm whether they'll be promoted. They might just get named champions in 8 places. So we're like, what do we celebrate here? Like, we're not interested in one. We want to go up. So that just get rolled into and then the gaffer left, and it just got to stage just thinking, like, right, what's next? Like, what else can you throw at us here? So I would just get used to getting absolute shot. As this year has been just shocks.
Yeah, Mark, have you heard for Robbie Nielsen since he went to Hearts? Have you had any like personal chats with him and all that?
A few times, I just kind of like I gone great with Robbie. Like, I was his captain. He used to get in, and it was very like he's a very intense guy, and he's got his way of doing stuff, and he's like the fittest guy I've ever met in my life. Like, his idea of fun is going like a 50k cycle at night or like a 10k run.
Trying with
like, and it's like,
no, Grado, he does it in real time. No,
right, so he doesn't do it on the Wii or anything like that.
No, he does it in actual real life, and it's like, so he just loves it, and that's not me. Like, I'm like, I always like to say I'm not a German car. I just rely on efficiency. Like, I don't want to move a lot. I just want to do as bare minimum I can do. So it's like, so I got on fine with him. Like, he's a great guy, and I phoned him, and I was just like, I actually when I went Gaffer, I went actually Robbie, isn't it? And he's like, well, you know, he says, you know, football. He's like, things change. I was like, I know, just like, it wasn't an issue. He's like, look, and Hearts were always his team, and I've told this story before. Like, I don't know if you dare on a podcast. I don't know how many followers you guys got. A lot,
20 million or something like that.
Aye, maybe too much, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So we had a meeting to do with the new strips, and they brought 3 of the players in, the manager, director of football, a couple of the commercial guys, to discuss the new strips and what colours we could do. Obviously, our new strip for the away strip is purple. So we've been speaking about changing the colour on that and just going over stuff. And Robbie just kept saying, I just think it needs a bit more maroon in it. And I'm like, what? Like, we've never had a strip with maroon in it. And he's like, no, I mean tangerine. I like the purple, but we bit more tangerine. We're like that. And then 2 minutes later, he's like, he's not, I like where it's going, but could we put maroon in it? And we're like, it's never get maroon. And I said, from that point, I knew if Hearts come in for him, he was going. That's all he thought about.
Hearts Daft, mate. Just Hearts Daft.
That's just his team. And you knew it was his team. And I think it would have took a massive club in England to get rid of him. And he was 100% buying into what we were doing at Dundee United. But Hearts came calling, and it was him. And he kind of said as much. And we just kind of, and I think as well, the club kind of say, look, if you want to go and kind of pursue that avenue, we're not interested in you staying, because we want people that are 100% committed. So I think there was a lot of factors at play as to why it happened so quickly. But he was fine, and I'm sure if we see him again, he'll be fine, mate, and just telling his players to smash us as he used to do with us when he was a guy.
Brilliant. But here, do you know what? That's amazing. You were telling me. Was this just because of COVID, but the likes of the new strips, or is that a normal thing? where they come in and go, would you want the colours to be next year? That's amazing. I never knew that kind of.
Well, so it's never. When I was always at Aberdeen for 8 years, and we always used to say that we want to ever say in it because and they used to look. It takes place in January, and it'll need to be next January. And by the time January came, we forgot about it, and then the strips were coming out, and we want to design them. Like not tomorrow, like they're designed, they're ready to go. And but we'd said that. And Tony Asgard, the sport director, it's just trying to do stuff a wee bit different and trying to keep an involvement and give everything to say. So he's like, look, absolutely, come in, we'll put it in the calendar. So we went in and it was good to be involved. That's the first time I'd kind of been involved in it. And
I'd love that, man. I'd be brilliant.
It's hard. It sounds dead cool. I'd be like designing my new leotard. Do you know what I mean? When I'm sitting with the woman who does that. It's interesting, that kind of stuff.
It's almost like a compromise because we're like, right, we want it like that, and the guy's like, yeah, we can do that, but it needs to have these sleeves, but we don't let him, and we want that collar. He's like, yeah, we can't do it with that collar. So there was loads, like we thought we'd just get carte blanche and just say like, we want a purple strip, you know what I mean? We want neon pink on it, and the guy be like, absolutely love it, but he's like, that won't work. We can't do that. We need to do this. So, but it worked out good, and it was, I think, for Dundee United, it was a big risk taking a purple strip as well because they'd kind of really done that, and I think they managed to tie it in with a charity with Alzheimer's Scotland as well because that's their kind of colours. So it ended up being pretty good, and the strip's lovely as well. So that's what we'd say. And if it went down well, then obviously we were involved, and if the fans hated it, then we had nothing to do with it, and we just need to wear it.
So let me looking back, right? You started off your career at Motherwell, right? Were you a Motherwell supporter growing up?
I was, So Motherwell was my team. So like, I was born in Motherwell. I was born like 100 yards down the road from Fir Park. Went to school there. I was involved in the youth team at Motherwell from I was about 11. So we used to get free tickets and that. And typical Motherwell boy, get free tickets for something. That's my team, absolutely. So I used to go. My pals are still big Motherwell fans. They still give me dogs abuse when I go back. Absolute pelters. I've scored twice against them as well. Scored for Aberdeen and scored for.
How does that feel? How does that feel being a Motherwell fan?
See, I love it, and it's quite a divisive thing as well because some people are, how dare you? Like that's your team, and it's like, but it's football. Like I'm not celebrating to like mug you off. I'm celebrating the joy of scoring. Like I'm celebrating for my team. So like, and a lot of people, and you see the guys like that score against some teams that just stand there as if like, but no, I was right in front of the Well boys, giving it the yes, here we go, and it was a winner against that, and it was a winner the last time. It's kind of like, Motherwell are great. They were my team, and I still love them. I still think they're doing well, and they gave me a great start in the game. But ultimately, I don't score many goals, so I'm going to go mental and score them.
Does any of your pals genuinely fall out with you after you do that? If you're giving it large for the...
One of my pals, Dave McGill, he's probably the biggest, and he texts me genuinely, like, and I can tell he's genuinely torn when he's texting me. But it really hurts him that we've won. And when I scored and celebrated, he texted saying, "You bastards, like, you've done it again." It's like, no respect. And he's like, no
respect.
and he's being serious, and it's like, and I can tell the way he's texting that it's hurting him. He's like, but it's just, he knows it. But he sits in the crowd. The crowds were back in. He used to sit in the crowd and he would shout like nonsense about me being a turncoat and this and that, and like it was a joke between me and him. But the guys next to him were all agreeing with me. You're right, son. He is. And well, like, my God. So I love that my time at Motherwell. And
what age are you, Mark, now?
I'm kind of Benjamin Button. Nobody really knows now. I'm trying to pretend I'm still under 30, but I'm actually 33.
You're very free. So I'm just thinking, because I mean, it feels like, I don't know, you seem like a player that's just been playing forever. It feels like that. Do you know that way, Bob? Tom? You know what I mean by that? It feels like you've always been about it.
Grado, I know what you're saying, right? But I get the opposite feeling. I feel as if you've only recently come onto the scene. And I know you've been playing for a right few years, but like when you broke in...
I don't know if that's a compliment, but is it?
But do you remember, like, there was... When you come through at first, you were the next big hangman. Like there was clubs falling over themselves to try and sign you and stuff like that. And I always remember that. So but I feel as if that was quite recently. I don't know if that's just because 2020's fucking with my head. You know what I mean?
I remember there was kind of chat. Was Rangers no sniffing about you as well, Mark? At one
point? Maybe 2007 or something like that. As early as that, maybe. What do you think?
Everybody was sniffing about him at one point.
I used to be a good player, man. I used to be hot property, man. Bob doesn't show my two boys, but look, I used to be a bottle. I know Shanks is the main man, but that used to be me.
Mate, Mate, Dundee United are they're keeping clean sheets all the time. Shanks isn't the main man anymore, mate. You know what I mean? He's not doing the job up front. You know what I mean?
I don't like the wing backs overlap. I'm like, you stay here next to me. Nothing crossing in for him. Just keep the clean sheet. But I made my debut when I was just like 4 or 5 days before my 18th birthday. So I was 17, and then I went away with Scotland to the under-19 European Championships. We got to the final of it against Spain. Gerard Piqué and that were playing in that team. They battered us in the group.
Is that how long ago that was? Jesus Christ, man.
Right, so Mark, answer me this, Mark, right? Is Mark McGee the grumpiest manager you've ever worked for?
See, no. Right?
No. I knew you were going to say that. And
you know what? The boys that had... So I went to Aberdeen after he'd been there, and the boys at Aberdeen couldn't believe my opinion on Mark McGee.
Aye.
Like... Because it was as if we were dealing with two different people. And McGee done this, that, and they're like, stop talking about him like you liked him. Like, we didn't like him. Like, that's just like, so, but because he came in, when I made my debut with Morris Malpass, or Terry Butcher, then Morris Malpass, and then we struggled under Mo, finished 11th, like we missed out in relegation by, I think St Mirren get beat on the last day, and that kept us in the league. We had to win like 2 of the last 3 games. We played Dunfermline. I'm sure we played Dunfermline, and then the last game was St Mirren, right? And one of my pals was in the squad and wasn't getting involved, was getting released at the end of the season, and he said to me before the game, he says, all we need is you and Scott McDonald to get sent off, and then last game of the season, this team gets relegated, and me and Scott get sent off in the game. I get sent off for ball, and Scott gets sent off for chopping somebody. And the last game of the season, me and Scott had to watch in the stand, and we got lost 2-1, and then we had to wait on other scores coming through, and we managed to stay up. And then Mark McGee came in after that season and was just like a breath of fresh air. And don't know if you remember, Toll Celtic won't remember, he can't remember what's happening yesterday, but we played some good football under Mark McGee. Like, we finished third in the league, fourth in the league, like behind Celtic Rangers. Like,
aye.
He just came in and we were the fittest that I've ever been. Like, we went to Austria for pre-season and we done triple sessions. So he gets up at 6 in the morning and we ran for an hour, like just ran as fast as we could for an hour. And then we get breakfast and then we trained for another 2 hours just running again. And then we get the balls out in the afternoon. We'd done that for a week. So we were so fit, and like Ross McCormack, Chris Porter, Davy Clarkson up front three that was just terrorising teams. And he just wanted us to play football. And I was actually speaking to a couple of boys at Dundee United this all week, and I was saying, like, he came in his first meeting, he says, look, I'll apologise to the defenders, the centre halves. He says, you will not enjoy this. He says, because we will score goals. He's like, and if we win games 6-5 or 7-5, he says, that's good enough for me. He's like, I don't care about conceding goals. He's like, I just want to score more goals. And that's what we done. We just battered teams. And it was like, I love playing under him. It was great.
It's like, it's almost as if he's had a different... You saying that there, and I remember Motherwell were such a good team at that point, but it's almost as if now he's got this reputation of being like a grumpy old guy, innit?
Is that video?
It's a video, mate, you're right, Joe.
It is.
Get that fucking phone out of my face.
Turn that fucking phone off, you prick.
Aye. He started doing the round with the caption underneath it, I'm a bogus gas man and all that.
You know what, I think his time at Aberdeen, because again, when he came into Motherwell, like we just finished 11th, but inherited a good squad of players, boys that were keen, and boys that suited the way he wanted to play, and then he went to Aberdeen, and I've worked under managers who give it we done this at Motherwell, my Motherwell boys have done that, my Motherwell boys never questioned that, and you think, I don't care about your Motherwell boys, like, we're no them. So I think it kind of stopped working from there, and then it just, as you say, just get moanier, and then it culminated in that video that done the round.
That was brilliant.
Was that the season that Davy Clarkson scored in the first 8 games or something? He scored, he scored every game for like 8 games in the trot or something at the start of the season, didn't he?
It might have been, but I don't know also if he done that for Dundee.
He did do it for Dundee as well.
I think Clarkson ended up getting a Scotland cap scoring against Czech Republic. Like McCormack, Ross McCormack when he signed for us was a joke. Like, and I'll take that's another thing. So Ross McCormack signed for us, right? And he was still young, came for Rangers, like one of the next big things, and just kind of came to us to get game time. So he kicked about with kind of me and the younger boys in the squad, like we had Carl Shearer up to train that, and he kept saying to us, like, I just don't feel right, like, I'm just not at it, like, it feels as though something's missing. And we were just thinking, like, this guy's just not adapting to life in Motherwell, because at Rangers, Murray Park is immaculate. I don't know if you've been there, but the setup's incredible. Everything's done for you at Rangers. Like, Rangers is a big, like, massive club in Scotland. He's came to Motherwell, and it's like you're getting a minibus to training or your car sharing to training, and we don't have our own training ground. We're just saying, the office just isn't it. So we're just like to him, look, you'll get used to it. Don't worry, like, these things, it takes time in that. Turns out he had an overactive thyroid gland, and it was like proper, like he proper just couldn't get used to it. Like, and we're telling him, don't go see a doctor, you're fine.
It's a minibus, mate. Honestly, hearts are the besties.
You'll eventually, you will love the minibus. Like, it's the best part of the day. And he's actually, the fact is, he's not like, I might need an operation, but they put him in his medication. I swear to God, they put him in this medication, and he was like a different player. Like, he was electric, like ripping it up for us, and then he kicked on and moved down south. But me and three of my mates nearly got him killed by telling him.
Then when he gets his medication, he's buzzing. He's fucking driving the minibus for you. He's not that getting to the games.
No, he's running beside it all the way down to
That's funny,
So yeah, after Motherwell, you've went down south for a wee while with Sheffield Wednesday. How did that come about, and what was the experience like overall?
That was like a paid holiday, to be honest with you, to be as blunt as possible. Like, I just never kicked my own arse. The thing is, I had two, like, when I moved to Sheffield, I had the chance to go Sheffield or Swansea, and went Sheffield. It was a huge club, still is a huge club. Right. Swansea were kind of, Swansea, after I'd said no, went back-to-back promotions to the Premiership. Right. So, like, I just couldn't make a right decision at all. So it was like, that was, but Sheffield were a huge club. League One, should have won it. We're going to, and the thing for me, we're going into the Championship as a big club. A lot of times in England, teams get promoted into the Championship, and it's like they'll just exist, or they'll float about. Sheffield, we were getting 18, 19, 20,000 fans in League One.
Mm-hmm. Aye, big
so everything was fine. Alan Irvine had wanted me for a while, like, had watched me, wanted me to play, wanted me to go down there and do well, and he was the kind of swaying factor. Went down there, signed up, all got sorted, and then he gets sacked like a week, 2 weeks later. And it's just like, that's the last thing you need to happen. And then you're now proving yourself to a new manager, and it's just So just that ended up just being a bit of a nightmare. And then Gary Megson came in, and me and him just didn't get on at all. I wasn't his type of player. I mean, if you look at the players he signed, guys like Miguel Lira, 6'5", Rob Jones, 6'7", Danny Barth, 6'5", like giants. And I was like 6'1", standing on my tiptoes. Set at half, he's like, no.
Do you think me and Stevie would have got a game for Megson?
Nah, maybe if I put his faith on my shoulders with the three of them.
Mate, we still wouldn't be big enough, mate. You know what I mean? No, Dynamite there, but leap like salmons, didn't we, told?
Aye, unbelievable. Getting back to what you're saying about you nearly signed for Swansea, right? Was the Martinez link anything to do with that, with the Motherwell and Martinez kind of link? Was he the manager of Swansea at the time?
No, I think it was Brendan Rodgers that was the manager at the time.
Was it Rodgers?
I think, and it was his scout that had kind of been pushing it, and like he was kind of. I hadn't spoke to Brendan or really had any dealings with him at all, but the scout says, no, look, he fits in, and Brendan, blah blah blah, and it was just more the fact that Alan Irvine had spoke to him, and he'd followed us for a while, and it was just, and again, hindsight's 2020, but everything lined up for Sheffield to be the perfect fit, and ultimately it couldn't have worked out, I think, much worse. But that's life.
We were talking about it before we come on. To interview you before you come on here, and you're telling us about the media stuff and all that. And it's funny because, like, you're saying you've got the monotone voice and that, but you're on this podcast, you're talking away, you're brand new. Why is it you're not allowed to get your character out when you're doing these post-match interviews? It's all that, we'll get the 3 points, onwards and upwards, onto, what is it they say again? Onto the next, what is it they always say again?
We go again.
We go again. But do you get training for that? Like, what's the deal? Is there words you're told to say so you don't put the fit in it, whatever?
Usually, at Aberdeen, we used to get briefed before we went in, like, this is kind of the message, this is what the manager said, this is what we want to get across, like, don't say this, if this is get brought up, just avoid it. So there is about that, but I think it's just, it's kind of like, I don't know what the relationship is, you just can't be bothered with it, like, you just don't, and a lot of the time, this is just me, like, you just feel as though they've already wrote their story, and they're just asking you, just to, just to fill and just to give credence to what you're saying, and it's like you feel like saying, and a couple of times I used to get in and say, like, right, so guys, what's the story? What do you need me to say? And they just laugh, and then they would just get you to do it, and it's like, what am I even here for? But I think you just don't want to get made look like an idiot, and a lot of times you just don't want to set yourself up. Like, there's a lot of times you're thinking, like, nah, we were terrible in that game, or we could have battered them, and you don't want to come out and say that, or you don't.
I'd love that.
Aye, but Grado, what you need to remember as well is, Grado, you gave an interview last week and then they were proclaiming you as the next fucking such and such.
You're right.
You know
You're
what I
right,
mean?
mate. You're
So
totally right.
you definitely need to watch your eyes and ears when you're talking to them.
I do get what you mean. I'm thinking about it as a post-match. Like, it would be brilliant if a player had turned around and said, you know what, fucking pumped him today. I know it's never going to happen, right? But it would be brilliant. But I do know what you mean, with twisting their word. They totally twist your words, or they take it out of context to make you look daft. So I can totally get why football players they're everything they say is calculated, so they know that they can't be taken out of context. I do get that.
And then, because the thing is as well, because one of your young boys done an interview for something, and it was like, the teammates won like best dressed, worst dressed, funniest in the changing room, and somebody put Mark Reynolds, and the wee boy said Mark Reynolds, and somebody, and it was on Twitter, and somebody commented on it saying, "Cannot believe that. Seems like a born bastard." I think, like, the only time you get to see me is post, like, you've no idea what I'm like.
Turning into the James Milner of Scottish football, mate.
Absolutely.
But that's funny because, like, again, I must admit, before we're interviewing you, you're going, what way is Mark Reynolds going to be like? Because we've had football players before that come and they talk like that, and it was good, and I had a good experience, and we played with. But you're actually kind of vibrant and bouncy, and you know, and full of spunk.
Yeah. Compliment was to say. I've never been told I'm full of spunk, and I've never been.
I just genuinely think Grado for a second there, I thought he was on some sort of American chat show, man. And you're out there, you're vibrant, you're just full of spunk, Mark.
And I'm saying it's a yes from me, and it's a yes from me. I'll start.
Brilliant, man.
Right, so after from Spunk to Aberdeen, Mark. so you went to Aberdeen. That was probably a no-brainer, that move, after what happened in Chef Wedder.
No, absolutely, and it was Craig Brown. I'd worked under Craig Brown. That's two words that do get put in the same sentence. Craig Brown. I had Craig Brown down at Motherwell and loved him. Craig Brown was my best manager I've worked under. Him and Archie Knox. And you know what? We had a meeting at Motherwell, right? In fact, it was a Motherwell, and it was Aberdeen, changing him at Aberdeen, and Archie Knox was like that. It was a shite result, and Archie Knox would come in and just rule. Like, Keith Lasley spoke about it before. He used to do, after the game, he used to get dressed, right? And everybody that works under him will tell you this. He used to put on his shirt and his tie, and then his shoes and his socks and his shoes. No pants, no trousers. And then the moment he'd put his shirt and tie and his shoes and socks on, he then decided he had something to say, so he would stand up and start going mental. And we're all sitting, so we're sitting at level, just like what's happening here? Like, and he's gone mental, and you're just like, but yeah. One time he'd done this, but he'd actually get fully dressed, so it was a blessing. And he was talking about spunk, and he was saying football players need spunk. He's like, that's one ingredients. Like, you've either got it or you've not. What are the ingredients? It says you've either got. I'm not even. You've either get spunk or you're a shite bag. You either go or. and then he went round the changing room and gave us a noise if we were either spunk or a shite bag. No way. I've never seen a room of grown men wanting a man to go in their face. I'm like, it makes you spunk and you're up for it, right? Honestly. And he's like, you shite bag. Go on, you get the trenches, you're done. And to be fair, Reynolds, he's like, I've walked before, but I spunk. Like, I'm fucking right, Archie, I do. Correct.
Oh my God, that's going to be the best story we've ever heard on this.
You made you to the words at my mouth, but that's the best story I've ever heard on this podcast. I'm not joking.
And I swear to God,
that's not the only time that Archie Knox has done that. That's not the only time he's done that. And you know what I mean?
Oh my God, that's going to be a comedy sketch in a show at one point, man. I'm telling you, that is fucking hilarious.
That will be only an excuse this year.
Oh, that is so good, man.
Sorry, man.
You're right, Archie. I get spunk, Archie.
I was so happy. I went home to my wife. I was like, then Archie's like to me, I've got spunk. It was brilliant.
It's amazing, man, because he's talking about Archie Knox. I'm going, right, we need to ask him for an Archie Knox story, man. It just blows everything out the water, man. That was superb, Jesus, man.
Back to your original question, Aberdeen. So it was the logical. Like, I worked with him at Motherwell, and Craig had been great with me, and kind of he'd been there when I kind of moved down to Chef Wed, and just for him and Archie phoned me and just says, look, we know what you can do. We know it's not worked out in England. Like, people know you up there. They know what you're about. You just need to play games and get back and playing games and showing people, and that's ultimately what I've done. And I've said that I went on record and saying this at Aberdeen, like, I was only going there for 6 months just to play games and then see what came of it. But went up there, enjoyed it, like, and loved the city, like the good club, like a huge club, like a big club, big fan base. Just needing just that wee change to go and kind of go and do it as well. I mean, Aberdeen have done very well over the last 7, 8, 9 years in terms of challenge,
consistency, man.
European, even running Celtic close, and they're still. I mean, this season they're strong as well. So it kind of, I went up there and Craig Brown offered, like, said, look, we'd like to keep you, and offered me a 4.5-year deal, which is a long contract in football terms. And I was like, look, absolutely. And I was like kind of proud to one of the guys that committed and was part of that rebuilding process. And I've said before, Craig Brown was laid the foundations at Aberdeen that Derek McInnes then came in and built on and built that success.
Aye, definitely.
Mate, see, you're talking about Craig Brown again. I'm not sorry to go back to that, but I could just imagine, like, Craig Brown and Archie Knox end of the game, man. I've had a defeat, and I'm like, what do we do? And Craig Brown's like, spunk or shite bag. Spunk or shite bag. Spunk or shite bag. Hit them with it.
It's time you probably spunk or shite bag.
It's time you probably spunk or shite bag.
I could just see Archie getting dressed, sitting there, building his Maddie up, and his head going, right.
Building his Maddie up.
And then just going, do you know what? You need? You need spunk. You better go right here.
Probably spunk or shite bag.
Brilliant, mate. Honestly, man.
You're so
Mark,
funny,
that is, Jay, I said it before, that's the best story I've ever heard on this. Honestly, man, it's fucking brilliant.
That's a fucking topper,
But, mate, under Craig Brown, you and Russell Anderson, I mean, yous were fucking solid together, weren't yous?
And again, Craig Brown's mantra, and I mean, even Scotland, like, he's still the last manager to get Scotland to a European finals, and it was, you go out there at 0-0, like, don't lose that point, build in that, and done. And, like, I mean, we went like a 13-14 game unbeaten run, and it was like 9 draws. And like that's what, and the fans were like, we'd rather get beat some of these games and go and win. Like, you're better winning 4 and losing 6 than drawing. You know what I mean? Drawing 10. Mm-hmm. But I just built that solidity and signed good players. I mean, he went on record saying that Russell Anderson's the best signing he made as his Aberdeen manager. And the only reason I know that is because I listened to it expecting him to say I was the best signing. Turned off disgusted. But Russell was a proper captain, experience, like, and I'll learn loads with Russell. And as you say, we've done great together. Loads of clean sheets, and I just built that a good. Again, most teams are built on a solid defence, and we had that at Aberdeen. He signed good players, and then Derek McInnes came in, he's just added that quality and just kind of knows what Scottish football is and knows what the players that we need to get, and it's just kind of kicked on from there.
Aye. You managed to get the League Cup with Aberdeen. Was that a career highlight for you, Mark?
Absolutely. I mean, that and winning the championship with Dundee United, they're the two pinnacles of success. And we should have won more at Aberdeen with loads of chances. We just ran into a really, really good strong Celtic. But the League Cup was brilliant. And again, I think it was the Commonwealth Games that year, so Hampden was full. So we went to Parkhead, they nicknamed it Park Red. We sold like 40,000 tickets.
I remember that day. I remember that day well. The stadium was about 3/4 red. I remember it.
And they could have sold more, but they would ended up having Aberdeen fans above the Inverness fans, and they'd have been throwing stuff and that. So, but it was incredible, and they'd done a display before it. It was unbelievable, and the game was terrible, like horrific. The whole game, but it's just so much tension. And I think it's probably the first time that we went into a cup final as a favourites. That it wasn't against Celtic, and we just need to get the trophy. And Rooney scored the winning penalty, and then the celebrations after that were unbelievable. We went up to Union Street a couple of days after it. It was like 100,000 people in Union Street. Like, it was rammed. It was just like a huge city, a huge club, and just they were desperate for us to be successful.
That's mental. See, when that happens, do they like higher ups in that in the club think to themselves, how can we bring 100,000 people out to a trophy presentation and they're no coming into the stadium every week? You know what I mean? Because if Aberdeen get this new stadium, then you want it to be absolutely rammed every week, don't you?
No, absolutely, and that's the question I think that they're always asking. And even the thing at Aberdeen, even when Aberdeen were doing well, when we were playing well and doing good, the crowd, you would see the crowd swelling from 12, 13 up to 17, 18,000, and that's what they always used to say. How do we keep that casual supporter like coming back? And I've not. I mean,
it's not just that team in it. It's like Kelly. Remember Kelly when it was Steve Clark? The crowds were up, and then the following season it just dwindles back down again. I think it's a problem with the clubs really, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, I think with Aberdeen but they don't really have. I suppose kind of similar as well. Like, geographically, they're kind of Aberdeen's just on its own. There's nothing near Aberdeen, like just fields. So it's not as if you've got like even a Motherwell or a Hamilton. You've got people coming from different areas maybe, but Aberdeen up there on its own. And again, as well, they were so successful. I was just say, like recent, like in living memory, they were like European Cup winners, League winners, Scottish Cup. Jim Leighton used to be, so Aberdeen used to drive the minibus, and Jim Leighton used to drive the minibus, and obviously we won the League Cup. And I used to play a game called Put Your Hand Up If You've Won This. And I used to say, right, put your hand up if you've won the League Cup, and we'd all put our hand up, and then I'd go, right, put your hand up if you've won Scottish Cup, and Jim Leighton would all the one on the bus driving it. European Cup, like if you go over 90 caps for Scotland. So like Aberdeen were like the proper players. Like somebody tweeted a picture the day that one of the guys that follows an Aberdeen fan retweeted it, and it was like a picture of Aberdeen with their internationalists. So current internationalists or internationalists that have been called up, and Aberdeen had a squad picture, and 17 of their players in their squad were full internationalists with Scotland.
Aye.
That's a level that they guys were used to seeing, and like it's hard to compete with that, especially with the disparity now in the kind of the money that Celtic and Rangers have got and the size of them, and that Aberdeen were once like giants, and just to like bat them at the side. So I think that comes into why the crowds aren't as big, because it's like, oh, why would I go and see that when I've had these and I've had your Willie Millers and your Alex McLeish's that they're just fighting that losing battle with that. And
don't worry, all fans will be dead soon, and the new generation will come through, and it'll be, why would I go and watch Aberdeen when I've seen Mark Reynolds?
Exactly, absolutely. Aye, exactly. I've known Mark Reynolds away. I can go back and enjoy proper football.
How did you come about leaving Aberdeen then, Mark? Was it injury? You got a knee injury and that? What happened?
We played pre-season against Cove Rangers up there, and so finished all pre-season. Worst time we got injury. Worst time we got injury after pre-season is pre-season in the last year of your deal. So we played Cove, just bowling over the top of my turn, caught my studs in it, ruptured my cruciate, taken over. I actually went back on to try and play a bit, and I was thinking it feels all right. Sprinted after the ball, and it just didn't feel right. Said to the manager, look, it's a free. We were opening their new stadium, and I says, look, I'm just going to leave it, see how it is. Went for a scan, ruptured cruciate. So that was me, meant to be 9 months to a year. So went to see a guy in Glasgow, Gordon Mackay, who does like a new kind of, it's called an internal brace, like it's a new procedure. And he so I got rehab back to full fitness, match fit in 4.5 months. So it was meant to be a year, done it 4.5. So it ended up that it was right in the middle of the January transfer window. And we just, almost coincidence as well, our reserves had arranged a game against Dundee United's reserves, and my name was on the list of players that was going, and Dundee United saw that, and Tony Ashgar, who I'd worked with before, phoned Aberdeen and says, look, what's the script with Reynolds? We get told he was out for a year. And he says, no, look, he's flew through his rehab, like we managed to go back 4.5 months, he's back fit. And he said, well, would you be interested in sending him out on loan? And Derek McInnes phoned me. I'd done a degree up in Aberdeen, like part-time degree at uni, and I was just going into uni, and Derek McInnes phoned me and said, look, with a few clubs on about you going on loan, he said, but Dundee United have phoned. He's like, they're a decent club. I think Derek's been there before as well. He says, look, they're pushing for promotion. It looks like a good option. Go and get games, and then potentially we'll extend your deal here, but you can go and affect it. And I went down and signed that night. I binned uni off that night, drove down and signed for 6 months on loan. And enjoyed it. Was playing well, feeling straight. And it was a bit of trial as well, because they were very sceptical that I'd get back in 4.5 months with my cruciate. They were thinking like it was some boy's job, or I just rushed it back because I needed to play. But my knee was solid, and the more they worked me, the more they saw that. And they said, look, we want you here. If we don't get promoted this year, we want to get promoted next year, and we want to build a team that's going to be successful. What do you think? And I signed a 3-year deal after 2 months on loan, and that was kind of with the aim of getting promoted back to the Premiership.
And mate, there's a good feeling at Dundee United, isn't there? There's a good time to be playing for them, getting promoted up the Premier League now. He's doing all right, do you know what I mean? So it's a good place to be in your career now, isn't it?
No, absolutely, and that's that. I mean, I could have sat. I mean, there was a contract on the table at Aberdeen, but I would have been a kind of bit part player and coming in and out. And I just want to go somewhere and enjoy. And again, and I've said this in the papers as well, like in my monotone voice that they don't enjoy. In the papers, like I wanted to go somewhere, and I saw the similarities between where Aberdeen were when I went and where Dundee United were. A big club, good support, rich history. Just the building blocks are there just for somebody to come and put them together and go and be successful. And I absolutely could see us getting promoted and then coming and doing well in the league. And you know, I'm not being disrespectful to teams, but there's not much in that finishing the top 6 or the bottom 6. You know what I mean? You put a good run of games together, good results. Can be top 6, and your top 6, 5th place gets you Europe almost. So
aye.
You know what I mean? There's a chance to go and be successful, and the first step of that was to get promotion. And I think we done, obviously, as I said earlier, it was tainted title, was no finish in the league, but we were running away with it. Like at one point, I think we were 20 points clear, so we would have got over that line, and then after that, it was go on and try and compete in the Premiership. And I think the slight annoyance is that there was bigger plans, but obviously coronavirus has kind of put paid to that, and we're still in a good place. You said there, there's a feel good place, and the supporters are buying into what the owner's trying to do, and the owner's been great, and everything's just positive now, and we just keep building on it.
What's the new gaffer like after Robbie gone? What's the new gaffer? What was his impact like when he took care?
Brilliant, really good. I got on great with him. I know, and he had a meeting as well at the start, and he says, look, I know what football's like. So I know you've all phone guys that you played with that have played under me. He's like, and I'm confident I can stand here and say they've all given me a good shout, and they did. And he's just a genuine guy. He just wants to go and try and play good football and try and get on the front foot and attack teams. And he's kind of come in a different type from Robbie, but it's just football. For as simple as football is, it's complicated as well. There's a lot of nuances to it and different, and we were still in transition. We were still the new team coming up. And we'd worked under Robbie, and we'd got that way of playing, and then a new manager comes in with a new style, a new staff, and a new league. So there's still a lot of we're juggling a lot of things and still trying to find our feet, find who we are. So it's good. He's a very good manager. We all got on great with him. He's very experienced. He's been successful everywhere he's been. And all the boys that work under him say he's a great guy to work for, and so far that's what we've seen. So we're enjoying it, and it's Scottish football is. We're getting some results. Some games we feel as if we could maybe get a bit more. Some games we've been lucky in, but it's football, and we feel as though we've got enough. I mean, our front three weekend was Nicky Clark, Shankland, and McNulty, and I think that's going to cause problems if we can keep the three fit for the rest of the year. So no, it's all good to now.
Excellent, good, bro. We get to the quiz now, troops.
You've not got a fear of quizzes, have you, Mark?
It depends what kind of quiz it is.
Right, mate, it's a 90-second quiz we do with all our guests. Right, they come on, we need to do a 90-second quiz. Football related, obviously. You can't pass. You must answer the question. And we're saying you get a fear of quizzes because we had Andy Little on last week who said he's petrified of quizzes and just wouldn't do it.
I'm terrible at football quizzes. I'm mere general knowledge.
No, mate, I don't believe that, mate. I think you're a hustler, mate. I'm not buying that. We've got a leaderboard here, right, Mark? Right. We've got a leaderboard. So we've got John Sutton and Chick Young are joint top with 15. Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley are tucked in behind with 14. While the good doctor, Kenny Dukert and Kevin Harper are just behind in third place with 13. Other selected scores include Charlie Adam on 10. Your teammate, Lauren Shankland, scored 7. Bit of pressure there, mate.
I'm just aiming for the bottom here. My football knowledge is terrible, so somebody got 0.
Well, mate, we've got Falkirk manager David McCracken, who's joint bottom with Andy Little, because Andy Little refused to do it. Both of them have got 1 point. But, mate, you can't, an experienced professional campaigner like yourself, can't go back into training, see Lauren Shankland, and see that he's outscored you in this quiz. Come on, Mark, you can be Lauren Shankland.
I'm getting there. I do well enough. It just depends what kind of football questions it is.
Right.
Go for it, Grado, mate.
Lech Poznan are from which country?
Poland.
Name the full teams playing in the Scottish Cup this weekend.
Aberdeen, Celtic, Hibs and Hearts.
Aidan McGeady is currently on loan to which club?
Pass.
Can he pass?
That's the last one I remember.
How many appearances did you make for Sheffield Wednesday?
17, 14.
What's the name of Stennismuir's ground?
Local View? No, it's not.
Who currently tops the English Premier League?
Let me check that. Man City.
Which Scottish club are known as the Spiders?
Queen's Park.
What club did Rangers sign Rangers Tavernier from?
James Tavernier's brother.
No, James.
Mate, you said which club did Rangers sign Rangers Tavernier?
No, I never. I said Rangers.
Carry on. Pause the clock there, John. Right, carry on.
Right. Who did you score against in the Under-20 World Cup?
Costa Rica.
Who is the current manager of Inverness Cali?
John Robertson.
What nationality was Lubomir Moravchik?
Czech.
Name one of the German sides Klopp managed.
Borussia Dortmund.
How many career goals have you scored?
13.
Who scored Aberdeen's 2 penalties at the weekend?
Lewis Ferguson.
Which club?
I think you've beat Lauren Shanklin there. I think so, mate.
We'll go through the wrong answers for you, Mark. Aidan McGeary currently on loan to Charlton. Everton are top of the English Premier League. Rangers signed Rangers Tavernier from Wigan. Lubomir Moravchik.
No, wait a minute. I'm calling out that Lubo one because he did play for Czechoslovakia at the 1990 World Cup. So I'm saying that's a right answer.
Right, okay. Chris is giving
Absolutely.
you that one.
Aye, that's what I remember. That I was 3.
I have got you down for 10, so you beat Lauren Shanklin.
That's fine.
Well done. Mate. There you go, mate.
That's good. My football knowledge is shocking. I'm more like that obscure. I'm the one you bring into the general knowledge round that just knows random shite.
No, Mark, now you're just showing off because your football knowledge was quite good as well, mate. And now you're good at general. You're showing off now, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, at least you knew Tavernier's first fucking name, eh?
How many hires did you get?
5.
Did you?
That's you, Clamp, Grado.
One as well.
A's, I take it.
5 A's, aye.
I know
So
your stuff,
remember
man.
you were saying that you were going to uni in Aberdeen?
Aye.
Where were you studying?
Mechanical engineering. So I graduated last year and got a degree in mechanical and offshore engineering.
So is this something you're going to try and get into after you've
Somebody's
finished
going
in the
offshore when
football
they
program?
retire.
I'm just going to try and find a well somewhere and just dig it and just.
Brilliant, mate. We'll let you go, mate. In fact,
brilliant,
it's
mate.
been one of the. Honestly, it's got the best story in it. Archie
I know,
Knox,
mate.
mate.
Honestly, that
The
was
interview
superb,
brilliant,
Mark.
mate. Thanks
No,
for keeping up your time, bud. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Football Daft with G4 Claims. Been involved in a road traffic accident? Get them now at notitfaultclaims.com.
That was a blinding show, and might I just add, Mark Reynolds, one of my favourite guests and my favourite story I've had in this show is my time working here, telling you.
Aye, it was also the phone-in. The phone-in was fucking great.
Aye.
I
As
think
well.
the phone-in works. You know what's going to happen now, but all the punters are going to say it was shite.
Man, there. No, if you want to, but this should maybe, if you're sitting there going, what a lot of shite they were speaking or whatever, then get in contact with producer John and get on the show next week and we'll have a wee blur.
Perhaps. Because remember, if you come on, man, you've either... There's two kind of people that come on, people full of spunk or people that are shite bags. You know what I mean? So
perhaps one of the callers could come on next week on the open line and ask Chris what his Big Brother story was.
Okay.
Good idea!
Do you know what? That's a good idea because we've not got time to know him to know.
Aye, mate, let's just wrap this man off.
Right, boys, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, man. See you next week.
Go and
Take
get that
care.
win fed, Stevie.
I know, I need to go. Look, he's doing laps now, 11 of them.
He's starving, Leo.
Right, trips.
Hey, see you later on, right?
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, right, bye-bye. See you later. Right, bye.
Audio Frontier.